What is Redis? To have the first understanding of it, database is considered to be so far we can't go there and come back every single time. So we use Redis, which is closer to us. Since it's closer, getting there is faster. Just that simple. The whole idea is simple, but using it is still simple. The whole point of key value stores is speed and ease of use. It comes with a set of simple but powerful features, and in this video we're going to walk through each one in short and easy sections and try them out together. Hey guys, my name is Parsa. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, I try to talk about my experiences and make software engineering and system design concepts way simpler. We say it's closer because each computer, each server has this structure, triangle. At top of it, it's CPU. Here is RAM. Here is disk. RAM is closer, is faster, but it's smaller. On the other hand, disk is bigger, but it's slower. Redis stores data on the RAM of the server, and database stores data on disk. The first time I used Redis was for a job interview. It was new for me, but I had to use it anyway. I didn't have much time, so I was just hoping it would be easy, and it was. I think this video is so important to watch because you may see Redis in so many system designs. So at first we talk about what kind of data exactly we can store with it. Then we see how to put expiry times on it. It has a publish and subscribe feature. And at last we see some handy functions with it. About its difference with SQL databases. Well, Redis is still a database, but it's not a SQL database. What's the difference? SQL databases have interrelated complex tables, but Redis have simple key value pairs instead. To have a better picture of key value, they can look like a JSON file. At first, we run it with Docker. I already talked about basic uses of Docker in these videos. Check them out if you want to. So we go for Docker, run Redis, but before running it, you usually see flag, which is -p, which is for the port. It says that forward the traffic to my 6379 port from the 6379 port of the container. So the first one is the port on our own machine, and the second one is the port on the container. But we can actually skip this flag because Redis already deploys itself on this port by default. So use this flag just if your port is already taken and you want to choose another one. So we delete this one, let Docker run Redis, and we use -d because we want the terminal back. I put it in the bad place. Okay, now we have it. Docker ps, we go Docker execute. Interactive terminal, the container ID, which is 7a63. Just the 4 first characters is enough. And bash. Now, as you can see, this little thing here has changed because we are in the container. So now we are in the container. It's like we are on the desktop in a Windows system. I mean, it means that we are here. So to use Redis, we type Redis CLI. And now, as you can see, this little string here has changed once again. Now let's use Redis by storing data in it. Well, it's pretty simple. We say that set. Oh, it offers me itself. Key, which is the name of key. Does it work? And the value. It says that, okay, we use key value store when we already know the key and we want to retrieve the value. So here we say that get the key. And this is its value. This was a really bad example. You'd never see something like this in real world projects. So let's go with a more realistic example. We set, for example, set. This is our key, user, one, name. Let's say it's me, so we name it Parsa. It says that, okay, and we want to get user one name, and we can have user 2 name, user 3 name, or user 1 age, user 1, for example, last name, and so on. And you see keys in this format much more often in real world projects. In the last example, we stored strings. As you'd expect, we can store numbers too. We set them and get them just like a strings, but Redis has some handy functions for numbers, which are increment and decrement. You know, since Redis is being used a lot for rate limiting, click tracking, it needs to count, and that's why it has a separate function for counting. So we want to increment it. Its function is incr, which stands for increment, then counter. After that, if we get it one more time, it says that the counter is 1. We can do it multiple times. And now it is 7. It has one other feature too, which is increment by, where we can add a number to it. We say that increment this value by, for example, 5. And if we get it, it is 11. Next to increment, we have decrement. Its function is decr, which stands for decrement, counter. It is now decremented by 1. It was 11, now it's 10. And we have that by feature here too. Decrement by, for example, 5. And if we get it here, it is 5 now. This feature of Redis may seem very basic to you. You might say it just adds a number to another. So what? Redis does this in an atomic way, which is important to us, but more on that later. The next type of data which can be stored on Redis is list. You may have heard of data structures, stack and queue. Well, they are different based on deciding who's going to get out first. Both of them can be implemented with Redis lists. How does Redis do that? Each list has a left-hand side and has a right-hand side. And on both sides, we can perform push and we can perform pop. So let's implement a very simple and small queue together. Well, as you might know, in queues, the first item which comes in will be the first item which gets out. We don't need to define lists, we can just push to them. At the left-hand side of the list, we push. Let's name it tasks, and on the left-hand side of it, we push task 0 and task 1. And since it's a queue, we pop items out of it on the right-hand side, which is right pop of tasks. So the first item was task 0 and the next one was task 1. So right now we expect that task 0 is a task which is going to get out. Task 0, and if we do it one more time, we have task 1. Let's add those tasks once again. I want to show some other features. Task 0 and task 1, we have pushed them together. So right now we've added 2 tasks into it. In real world projects, we might not be sure that how many tasks we have already pushed in. So with the metric to put some threshold on it if we need it. That function for getting the length of a list is len. I don't know what that first L stands for, but the len stands for length for sure. Tasks. So right now we have 2 items in it. Let's add some more. The length is 4, and I think that we can find some items on the list. We have pushed these tasks to the left side of it. So from the left hand side, we add L index. For example, 0 should be task 3, I think. Sorry. Task 3, yeah. And I think we should have a R index, which stands for right index 2. Okay, so we don't have it. Okay, so we can't do it. So we have index just from the left hand side. I mean, it counts from the left, which is tasks, for example. So the index 0 was task 3. The index 1 should be task 2. Yeah, exactly. And there is one other feature too. Well, right now we have 4 items, task 0 to task 3. We can, sometimes we don't want the whole list. We just want, for example, the first 3 items. At that time, we can use, I think, L range, which iterates over the list, and we say that 0 to, for example, 2. Sorry, I always forget the key. And it gives us the 0th item, the first item, and the second item. I'll push, for example, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's still the same, the first 3 items. There's a point about these lists, they can have duplicated items, 2 or more identical items. Sometimes we don't care about that, but sometimes we do. For example, when we want to count the real viewers of a website, well, in this case, for example, me, if I visit the website, for example, 5 times, I'm still counted as 1. So we don't want duplicated items in this case. Sets are just lists without duplicated items, and you have set and lists in, for example, Python 2. When a new item wants to come into a set, the Redis checks that whether the same item already exists or not. If it does, so then it is blocked. So just like lists, we can keep defining them and just add items to them right away. We add to them with S, which stands for set, add. The key is, for example, unique IP. And the IP itself, the item is, for example, 11111. And let's add, for example, 2 and 3 and 4. If you want to get the list of the members of a set, we can go with this function, members. S in the beginning, which still stands for set. And then the key, unique IP. Well, as you can see, right now we have 4 IPs in it. If we try to add the same IP address once again, for example, 1113, it is added. But if we check the members, we have only one IP address, 1113. So it doesn't accept any duplicated. If we do it multiple times, it still doesn't matter to us. Next to the sets, we have sorted sets. The name explains itself. Redis has a feature which sorts these sets, and for adding to them, we don't use sadd, we use zadd. Zadd, let's name this sorted set leaderboard. And at first we add the score, for example, 120, and then the member. And after that, one other, we add 50, which is, for example, one other name, for example, John. And one other more, for example, Ali. For reading items from a sorted set in Redis, we have so much flexibility. Let's start with Z range, which says that leaderboard, and we want the rank 0 to, for example, 2 from bottom to top. The first one with the lowest score is John. The second one with the lowest score is me. And the next one is Ali with 340. And if we add some other members, I'm running out of names. For example, let's add 60. So Paul, for example. One other 200. And now if we get it one more time, it shows us the rank from 0 to 2. I mean 0, 1, 2 with the lowest score. So as we can range from bottom to top, we can do it vice versa, which is Z reverse range, which is the leaderboard once again. And for example, we can do 0 to 2. I mean, I have 3 members with the highest score, which is Ali, which still has 340, Alex, and Parza, which is me. We can get the score of a specific member with this command, Z score. For example, leader board Ali, which shows us its score. We can get their rank. Here ranks the 4, and I think we should have something like this one. Yeah, 0. So always rank and range are from bottom to top, and rev rank and rev range stands for top to bottom. Redis has a feature for statistics. Right now we have scores 50, 60, 200, 120, and 340. Okay, here we can get the count of members who has scores between, for example, 100 and 200. Z count leaderboard from 100 to 200. It returns 2. I mean, 2 people in the list have this score between 100 and 200. And for more than 300, for example, we add plus inf. I hope it works. Yeah, just 1%. Minus inf. I mean, at the infinity. For example, 100. And we have 2. What happens if we don't add any range? Set count. Okay, yeah, we have to give it range. The first time I've heard about Redis, I heard that it's a cache where we put our stuff temporarily. As we talked about in this video, in engineering, the deallocation step is a thing which should be at least considered. We may perform it, we may not. Actually, to be honest, it's better to perform it. When we store data in a temporary place like Redis, we should make sure that when we are finished, it doesn't exist anymore and doesn't take a space any longer. And we can remove them manually or automatically. So here we can define a key which is weather, which let's say it's sunny. And we had expiry time on it. Use this one, expire. As we live in Germany, any sunny weather is going to be expired soon. So we added like 5 minutes. 5 times 60, which is 300. It is in seconds. Actually, this was a bad example. Let's define another one. I'm so sad from German weather. Weather 1. And let's give it 20 seconds of expiry time. Sorry. Which is sunny. And we give it weather 1. Like 20 seconds of expiry time. Now if we get this key, we have it, but if we check it in 20 seconds, we should wait 20 seconds. Now it doesn't exist anymore. And there's one other feature we can see how much time is left. That function is TTL, time to live, for the weather, which is 211 seconds. So in 3 to 4 minutes, we're gonna lose the sun. Well, apparently Redis has a publish subscribe feature, which I haven't worked with. As you might know, in a microservice environment, we have 3 types of communication. The first type is synchronous, like HTTP. The second one is asynchronous, which is this publish and subscribe. And the third one is SDK, which somehow wraps the first 2 types. For this type of communication, I worked with Nats, Kafka, and RabbitMQ, which are going to be covered in my next videos. As in this channel, I'm talking about my own experiences. I don't dive into this feature of Redis. Maybe later. There are some handy functions in Redis which I definitely want to mention. Let's clear all this out. The first one is keys star. It shows us all the keys. We can check the existence of a key with this function. Exists, for example, a random key. As you can see, it doesn't exist, but if we check the existence of this counter, it exists. And the other thing that is the delete function. The first 3 letters are enough. Then we can define a delete. Then we can delete, for example, delete counter. And if you check the existence, it doesn't exist anymore. In real-world projects, you don't use Redis like this. In normal cases, you use Redis through a backend application, through a Golang application, through a Node.js application, through them, and not like this. I was looking forward to record a video about connecting Golang with Redis. I think so far we have enough content on the channel about them. I mean, we have content about Golang and we have content about Redis. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if this video might help you. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, I would be really glad if you drop it down in the comments. Be curious and keep learning.